uh, distinguish between social capital and social tribalism. Social capital is a different concept. Social capital is like it's a positive concept. Social tribalism actually is not giving you protection. Social tribalism is essentially splitting the nation into unnecessary, and it is benefiting only some people. It's not, so social tribalism is not a instrumental method of protecting yourselves. These are also leading to capital flight because money is not staying here, and there is a capital flight. There is also via the grapevine, you might hear of this, but there is official statistics. The integrity institutions in the New York, etc., they are actually documenting how much of capital flight by Bangladesh is happening actually. And therefore, what's happening now is that middle income dream is our ambition, but in the way the governance is now organized, governing the economy, sustainability is actually at risk. So I want to pose 3 puzzles in front of you. I've largely given some of the answers for this. First puzzle is what I call this transformation without resource. When Bangladesh started, what did we have? We don't have any major mining. We don't have, didn't even have a very educated workforce. But Bangladesh has transformed. Why? Because of the drivers that I mentioned, because of its aspiration driven, because of contested politics, because of policy, etc., etc. So transformation without resource is one of the puzzles of Bangladesh. Our farmers, even now, one of the interesting features of agriculture, farmers still are largely, if you look at who are the more illiterate people within the country, formal literacy, it will be in the rural areas and in the middle to elder rural citizens, the farmers. But the same farmers have been extraordinarily intelligent in terms of embracing technology. Ill-educated farmers embrace technology and transformed agriculture. That's transformation without resource. That's one of it's a puzzle, but we know the answers here. But the second puzzle is this is one that I've just coined for this lecture actually. Bangladesh, if you look at it, same language, mostly, Bangla. Majority, one religion. You go to any African country, their big problem is tribalism. Splintered into this and that tribalism. We started as a homogeneous nation, but we have managed to invent tribalism within this homogeneous reality. And we have become, this is social tribalism. We have, unfortunately, not seen our homogeneity as a resource, because many countries don't have this. Same language, almost same one religion as a major. But this homogeneity, which should have been a resource, we have managed to ignore that and invented social tribalism. And it has deepened now. And that is, for sociologists, this is a big area of study that one has to do how this happened. The third puzzle is also very pertinent. Right now, political space, it's stable. We had an election of some sort in early this year. And there has not been violence. Even now, opposition election, there has not been much violence. So there is political stability of a sort. But it's stable, in the sense that there is no breakdown on the road every day. So we can call it political stability. Nevertheless, this political stability coexists with enormous economic uncertainty. So stability is not translating into economic certainty. So that's also a puzzle. So these are the three puzzles with which we now need to look ahead. So looking ahead, three dangers that I want to highlight here. One is that the model of economic governance that I highlighted before, that model, if it continues, the model of economic governance, will only perpetuate what I call the cheap labor economy. We take pride of governments and remittance, but the source of both of these sectors is low wage. And a country which aspires to be middle income has to transit to a more skilled labor force and higher wages, actually. But if the current structure of economic governance continues unchanged, we are caught in the cheap labor economy. And therefore, middle income just is a word then, because we can't reach middle income with a cheap labor economy. Secondly, our population, if you look at our population age pyramid, we are a young population. Particularly the size of the youth is very high. And therefore this word demographic dividend, that a youthful population has advantage because you have mostly people who are able to work. But that will happen, this demographic dividend has happened in other countries, if the required investments and the appropriate investments in quality human capital and social infrastructure are made. And that's where the quality challenges in the education area and the high NEET rate in Bangladesh is calling into question. And we don't have too much of a window. About 2035, 36 is the window for this demo. After that, our age pyramid will begin to shift to less youthful population. So we have roughly about a decade to make the best use of this window. But are we making the appropriate investment? That's the question. And if the current model of the, what I call cronyism, etc., meaning that income disparities, if they continue to rise, and it is rising, Bangladesh had one of the features, if you remember, ছোটকালে একটা বাগধারা ছিল, গাড়ি ঘোড়া লেখাপড়া করে যে গাড়ি ঘোড়া চড়ে সে, এটা অবশ্য কলোনিয়াল মাস্টার্সরা শিখিয়েছিল. It was not, but it was a meaning that if you become educated, you will become prosperous. That link has broken. Education was a driver of social mobility. It is no longer a driver of social mobility. Social mobility meaning, can you become quickly rich, etc., now depends on other factors. Are you close to power quarters? Do you have these connections to very many powerful groups, etc.? Those have become. So the historic tradition of Bangladesh as a socially mobile population that is seeing it's not just economic disparities, it is also social disparities. Elite psychology is undergoing some transformation. So what needs to be done, if I quickly finish through some prioritization? First point to make is that the middle income dream, that's why I chose the title, The Challenge of Democratizing the Middle Income Dream. The middle income dream is not an imposed product. Some expert somewhere wrote it up and then told Bangladesh, here is your dream, go and achieve it. What has to happen? The dreaming has to be a collective exercise. We have to dream together. Because if we dream together, then my priority will also enter into the dream. Not just the experts or the powerful's priority. If I feel that, basic education is important, my priority then will enter there. If I feel that agriculture needs more attention, farmer, then that priority will enter there. So middle income, the important point is not about middle income as an end goal, but about a collective dreaming exercise. And that can only happen if the opportunities for dreaming are allowed socially, politically, and economically. So, therefore, as I said, democracy or development is a false debate. In the Bangladesh case, we are seeing low democracy is leading to low development. Actually, we have to return to contestability, competition. And the two drivers of Bangladesh, if I look at it in the long run, aspiration and contestability. Aspiration remains, and therefore Bangladesh remains resilient. But contestability has to also return. Otherwise, accountability doesn't happen. Expenditure efficiency will not go up. Capital flight will not go down. We have to do that, actually. But even contestability, you bringing that back alone is also not enough. It's a necessary condition, but not sufficient condition, in the language of an economist. Because what we have also witnessed is a significant institutional decay of our very many institutions. So, systemic reforms are in all sectors are very, very critical. Education, as I mentioned, we are caught in a trap, access without quality. We are expanding, we are giving a lot of attention to access, taking education to the doorstep, etc. We have to give similar attention to ensuring quality. And that requires investment. That requires transforming education governance. Currently, it's over-bureaucratized governance of the education sector. That is not really contributing. We are in this trap, access versus quality trap. We need to really get over that. And finally, we have to reconnect to our resource of homogeneity. Social tribalism is convenient for the tribal leaders and those who benefit from such tribalism. But it is leading to this institutional decay. So we really have to really work on that area also, how we can create inclusive social spaces. So this is a longer term view. And that's why I want to end by saying middle income is about collective dreaming. And if we want to achieve it, we have to do this. Return of contestability, systemic reform, retreat from social tribalism, and get education out of the access versus quality trap.